In this video, I'm going to the thrift store to find furniture that I can restore and flip for a profit. And to make it more of a challenge, there are a few rules. 1. I can't spend more than $100. 2. I only have 1 day to restore whatever I buy. And 3. I have to get the item listed online and ready to sell before the end of the day today. I start at the Habitat thrift store in Chicago to see if we can find a good deal on a beat up piece of furniture. The first piece that catches my eye is this oak tallboy dresser. It's a name brand piece and it looks to be made of pretty good quality, but $160 is significantly over our budget for today, so I'll have to pass. Next, I spot this scratched up antique looking dresser. I really like the style of it and the unique hardware on the drawers. It immediately caught my eye because the top was covered in obvious scratches, and that's a kind of damage that can scare most buyers away and create a great flipping opportunity. Unfortunately, this one was very overpriced for its condition at $120. Then I find a decently priced piece at $80. It has some damage on the top and the marble inlays are cracked, but I'm confident that I can completely restore the piece. The overall style and the burled wood design on the drawers could bring some serious value, but there was just one problem. It was too big to fit in my car. So I decided to sit in the car and scroll on Facebook Marketplace. And good thing I did, because I find this listing for a stunning mid-century modern tallboy dresser for $130, and I negotiate the price down to $100. It fit perfectly in my car, and when I had it sitting in my workshop, it hit me just how cool this piece really is. There are a few large scuffs on the top and the sides, but the mid-century modern vibe and really cool drawers could bring a lot of profit once we refinish it and get it looking like new again. After doing a quick reverse Google image search, I find a few listings for this dresser in good condition going for well over $1,000. And now I'm even more excited to bring this piece back to life and completely restore it. First things first, I take out all the drawers, then start working on removing the old finish. I spread a generous amount of chemical stripper on the top, then after about 10 minutes, once the stripper has done its magic, I scrape it off. And check out all the old finish on the putty knife. Stripping off the old finish will save us a ton of time sanding and save us from potentially sanding through the veneer and ruining the piece. Once the top is fully stripped off, I spread on some stripper on the sides, the drawers, and the rest of the dresser. On the flat surfaces, I use my putty knife, and on the hard to reach spots, I use a wire brush to scrub the old finish off. And once most of the old finish has been removed, I use some acetone to help clean up any leftover stripper and leftover old finish. Don't skip this step. Leftover stripper will quickly gum up sandpaper and make the sanding process a lot more messy and take a whole lot longer. The faster that we can refinish this piece and get it listed, the more profit we can make from flipping furniture. So I try to work as quickly as I can without cutting any corners and while still trying to truly give new life to the pieces that I work on. At this point, the dresser had almost all of the old finish completely removed, but now we had to sand the entire thing down. Because most of the old finish is already removed, I start with a 150 grit sandpaper to help remove surface scratches, and I work my way up to a 220 grit to smooth everything out. I use my orbital sander on the large flat surfaces, and then I use my smaller detail sander on the more detailed parts of the dresser. Because the plan is to stain this piece, we have to make sure to completely remove the old finish and old stain, otherwise our new stain will not absorb properly and may turn out very splotchy. If you want to get started furniture flipping, make sure to check out my 44-page in-depth flipping guide. There's a link in the description of this video. Since the drawers are not flat at all, they took a lot of extra time to sand, so we need to keep up the pace. Luckily now we're completely done sanding, so let's give the dresser a good wipe down with some mineral spirits to get off all the dust. Making sure that all of the dust is completely removed before starting to stain is one of the most important parts of this process. If there's any leftover dust, the stain may absorb poorly and look very uneven. When wiping off the drawers, I really start to notice that the top drawers are a different, much lighter wood species than the rest of the dresser. But once we stain everything in the same color, it should match pretty closely. All right, now that everything is drying off, let's get ready to stain. And first we're gonna apply a pre-stain conditioner so that the wood absorbs the stain more evenly. And if you're enjoying the flip so far, make sure to leave a like and subscribe, it helps a ton. Thanks. Staining is my favorite part of any flip. First, I wipe on a pre-stain conditioner on all surfaces of the dresser. Then after about 30 minutes, once the conditioner has absorbed into the wood, I wipe on a dark walnut stain using a piece of an old t-shirt as a rag. I usually reach for dark walnut because it's a safe choice when flipping furniture. It gives pieces a premium rich color that can make them more appealing to potential buyers. And also, it's my personal favorite stain color. For the most even finish, stain one section at a time, apply the stain evenly, then then wipe away the excess following the direction of the wood grain. While I did notice that the wood was a different species on the top drawers, I did not anticipate that it would be a species that would absorb the stain poorly. Luckily, I think that the slightly uneven stain actually matches the design of the top drawers pretty well. But if I were to redo the top drawers, I would probably use a toner to tint them darker instead of staining them darker. All right, now that our stain is dry, we're gonna spray on some polyurethane, and that'll help the color of the wood pop and protect it from scratches and water damage. I love watching the wood go from a flat brown finish to a deep brown satin finish from the polyurethane. It doesn't just help protect the wood, but it also helps it look like a professional premium piece. After letting the polyurethane dry for a couple of hours, we're ready to list it online. Just a reminder, this is what the dresser looked like before and then after. This dresser turned out awesome. The wood grain came out incredible, and the overall mid-century modern look will help a lot with bringing a high resale price. The scratches on the top and the sides are completely gone, and now it looks practically brand new. With this being a sought-after vintage piece, I'm listing it online for $1,000. And I've had other mid-century modern pieces sell at that price, so I'm confident we'll find a buyer. We spent $100 on the dresser and about $50 on materials. If we can find a buyer for that price, that gives us a profit of $850 in about 8 hours of work. So that's $106 per hour for this project, which is great. Now all we have left to do is wait for a buyer. I posted the listing on Facebook Marketplace, OfferUp, and a couple other marketplace apps. For staging, it's really hard for me to get dressers inside, so I just stage them outside, and while it's not 100% ideal, in the summertime when the grass is pretty and the flowers are growing, it's actually a pretty nice background. And while it's not perfect, it does a good enough job. There's a buyer coming in a couple of hours to check it out, so I'm gonna pull it out, dust it off, get it looking as good as it possibly can, and if everything goes well, it'll be a $1,000 sale and an $850 profit.
I'm bringing it down to my dad's basement. He's got a lake house.
Right.
Yeah, and I'd probably go with it.
Okay, cool. Cool, thank you. All right, and it sold for $1,000. This is my second mid-century modern piece to sell for that price, and that's why I always look for mid-century modern pieces first over everything else, because if you can find them at a reasonable price, they can be worth a lot of money in good condition. If you want to get started furniture flipping yourself, make sure to check out my 44-page in-depth flipping guide. It'll teach you everything you need to know about furniture flipping, including where to find pieces, what tools to get, how to sell your finished pieces, and everything I wish I knew when I first started furniture flipping. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to check out my other flips, and if you haven't already, make sure you're subscribed and leave a like on this video. It really helps support the channel, and it tells YouTube that you want to see more of my videos. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.